On. All right, welcome one and all. We are back to another watch party, and I am joined again by Mr. Furzel. I think I'm getting feedback. Let me shut this down. There we go.
Yeah, it's that wolf
Um,
guy again.
well, welcome, Mr. Furzel. I'm glad you could join me, and I'm glad all of you in the chat can join me. We have this classic. It's a Steven Seagal movie, but I think he is actually overshadowed by the other stars in the movie.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
so we're going to go ahead and count it down. We're going to get it going. It's about an hour and 40 minutes, give or take. Um, and then we will start our discussion. So I will count us down from five, and we're all at the sync point about 13 seconds in with the Warner Brothers logo.
Yep.
So let's give it a go, and we're going to count it down. Five, four, three, two, one. Hit play.
There you go.
All right, and looks like Miss Swift is back from vacation. Welcome, welcome.
Welcome back.
And let's see who else we have. We have Alex Peacock. We have Calbot, Eric Helifino, James Hellier, old Johnny Devick, Miss Swift. Let's see who is in Discord. We have Alex Peacock. We have Mad Matt. Calbot's in the chat. All right, we have what I like to call full house. It looks like everybody's here today.
Yep, there we go.
Yep.
For our Die Hard on a Boat, Steven Seagal vehicle.
And here's the boat, a major
go.
player in the movie. It is a battleship, and I guess in real life, I don't remember the name of the boat, but in the movie, it's called the Missouri. I think it's the Alabama in real life.
Okay.
If it was kind of decommissioned and all the nukes were taken out. And so we're getting a look at Mr. Seagal himself in his lean, mean fighting days.
Yes, of course. Even when the president visits, Steven Seagal can't be in his whites.
He's not in his whites.
He's got to stand out.
He's just a cook.
That's right.
He's just the cook. So let's hear if anybody has seen this movie before. This is one of my favorite action movies.
Oh, really?
And I did a pre-watch of it yesterday. I had not watched it in years, but it has always stayed with me. And doing a pre-watch yesterday, the reason why it has stayed with me, it's not because of Seagal, it's because of Tommy Lee Jones's performance. And as we watch, if you notice just those moments where Tommy Lee Jones is just spot on with his acting, and he engages with the cast, he engages with the audience, and he really is the driving force, in my opinion.
I would agree. And I mean, well, here we get introduced to Gary Busey's character. He's certainly wearing his whites. It's been several years for me. I've seen this film before in its entirety, but I think it was closer to when it came out, maybe within a year or two when it came out. I haven't seen it since then, but it was definitely part of that string of action flicks. They were trying to get a couple different martial artist guys from the 90s to kind of participate in, just putting a supposed everyman in an extraordinary situation and then just seeing how things played out.
Oh, yeah. Good comment, James. The shots at sea are the actual USS Missouri. The action was filmed in Mobile on its decommissioned sister ship, the Alabama.
And Calbot adds that the Missouri is now a museum in Pearl Harbor, and he even toured it back in 2001. Way to go.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, they're hosing down the anchors they pulled up. That's interesting.
And pretty soon we're going to see a shot of the president at the time, Bush, and his wife, Barbara. So this movie, I love to reflect back on the good old days when we all went to the movie theater. We That's where we had to go see movies, and it was always a big ordeal finding the movie times, finding what theater that you want to go to.
Mm-hmm.
And the trick was to, because you know what, a lot of movies did stay in the movie theater for quite a while, but some only lasted for a few weeks. So the trick was, if you didn't see it opening weekend, you'd want to see it within the first couple weeks because you never know when it was just going to vanish.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this one had a pretty solid showing and was in the theater for quite a while.
And
Um,
and in fact, James is saying about rental tapes would be replaced a lot as they wore out from frequent rewinding for a certain scene. I think I know what scene he's probably talking about.
is there a
All of our
certain
hats now.
scene in this movie that maybe has been rewound a few times?
Well, if I remember
Um,
correctly, it has been many years, like I said, since I've seen it, but I think I know what he's talking about.
it's the famous scene. I think she's Miss. Is it Miss January or is she Miss July? I can't. Miss July. I
James says
think
Miss July.
Miss July. It may feature Miss July. Yes, James. Yes, Mad Matt, dial movie phone. We used to have to dial movie phone to get the movie times, or we would go to the yellow pages and go to the
Mm.
theater, and you call the theater. Yes, Mad Matt. Now Steven is in his whites.
The the man in green here looks familiar to me, but I'm not placing him. I seem to recall he usually would have a mustache, but maybe I'm wrong. Chat, you can maybe clarify here for me. He's definitely familiar.
Um, Dwayne Davis is his name.
Hmm.
I Okay, so there are, according to what the trivia is on the internet, there's 9 actors in this movie that then appeared in The Fugitive. I'm
Hmm.
not counting 9, but there, the trivia counts Harrison Ford, but Harrison Ford was not in this movie.
Right.
Harrison Ford saw a rough cut of this movie by that director who did The Fugitive, and he saw this rough cut, then decided to do The Fugitive.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, Dwayne Davis, I bet he's got many roles.
Is he? I wonder if he is he in any way related to Andrew Davis, the director of this film?
Aha, that's a very good question.
Alex is saying there used to be these things called newspapers. Do tell, Alex. I
Hey, does
think
anybody remember getting the newspaper delivered?
I think I remember. There's things. In fact, I might still have a subscription to one or two newspapers myself.
Aha. You mean that one that's not digital? Every newspaper
Absolutely.
subscription's gone digital. Yes, Alex, the newspapers. That's a great comment. Newspapers. You would have all the local theaters and listings and nice black and white poster images and promo. Yes, we would have all the images. You'd have the theaters. It would be like pages and pages of the theaters, and you would be able to tell where they're playing. Oh, newspapers got delivered morning and afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Then they stopped getting morning delivery, and then it was just afternoon, I think.
Mm.
Back in the day.
So, Chat, what's your is this your favorite Steven Seagal movie, or is there another one worth watching? Because I have to be frank, I don't know that I've seen many in completion, and it wouldn't be good to see another one before he, kind of went a little nutso.
Yeah, this was the one that really stands out for me. Um, then he went in a world full of action stars. when one kind of goes nutso and falls out of favor, there's always one to replace.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, what other kind of Steven Seagal movies or appearances make a movie worthwhile? And of course, the irreplaceable Gary Busey,
Mm.
classic. Um, I want to say he plays a really good psycho character, but he's not really psycho because he's always like in control of his character. He's just like eccentric.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of just brings that intensity with his voice. It's
Yes.
kind of grating, but also just just the stares and the gesticulations and things, the random spurts of energy. I think that's true.
That's a really good way of saying it.
Oh, there we go. That
And
must be Miss July.
Miss Swift, a timestamp. We are about 10 minutes and 20 seconds in. And I apologize. Every week, I keep trying to get a counter in the upper corner. Where am I pointing? Yeah, in the upper corner there. I want that timestamp.
Mm.
I am in the middle of a big, huge move cross country, and you know what? I just space it. Um, but I will. I will get
Steven Seagal doesn't follow orders.
it. He's just the cook,
That's
and
right.
so it doesn't appear that anybody now knows his backstory. If you understood the tagline "Die Hard on a Boat," then him being the character of the John McClane, we're understanding there is a backstory. We don't know it yet, so I don't want to give anything away.
Ooh.
Oh, James Hellier said executive decision and exit wounds.
Oh yes, I remember Executive Decision. I really like that one. That the one, and that's probably because Seagal was in it only for a few minutes before Kurt Russell takes over.
Oh, well, there you go. Well,
Um, James
oh,
Hillier
go
also
ahead.
mentions Above the Law, Hard to Kill,
Mhm.
Marked for Death, Out for Justice. There's a lot of death in the title.
So, what's interesting about Steven Seagal is there's a lot of movies that he's in. Can he, in fact, carry a movie by himself? Does he do better with co-stars? Does he do better with co-stars that are more well known than he is? And is he of the caliber that he can carry a movie and be a solid performer?
I agree. I think that there are some actors that either through their own deficiencies or maybe just in the writing don't have as much to do, and so like a good side character, supporting actor can really bring out a much better performance.
And maybe Seagal is one of those that does his best work when he's partnered with um, a solid cast.
Yep. Which he has here. I mean, we definitely
Mhm.
have some solid co-stars and a lot of familiar character actors as well.
Yes. So the character actor, the red haired guy, I don't did he have a name? I'm sure his character has a name.
I
He
missed
also, I want to say he was in at least one of the seasons of 24.
Yes, I think
Um,
James mentioned that there's a lot of 24 alumni here.
mhm.
Eric, I agree.
Yeah.
If you're talking about executive decision, that was weird, and I'm sure that Saul probably campaigned against it, but ultimately, I think it probably made the film a little better.
Is that the one that Eric mentioned? He died in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that's getting onto a plane. So I guess that was Die Hard on a plane.
Oh, James said he was in every season of 24.
Okay,
Well, there you
I know
go.
that. Yeah, the red-haired guy. I know he plays a lot of military characters.
So, not only is this movie full of testosterone, There you go, Miss July. You
I have to
know,
expect
wonderful
Cher to
thought.
pop out and start doing a number.
Well, but it does make sense. You have a ship full of men and they want to celebrate the captain's birthday and have a gal pop out of a cake.
Hmm,
It just makes sense.
there you go.
Yes, over on Discord, Mad Matt, um, yeah, put a picture up. Was she really Miss July? Playboy's Playmate of the Month.
That's a good
Or
question.
that was just a takeoff of the movie, I think. Or was that real? I'm sure someone in the chat knows whether she was really Playboy Playmate of the Month. Don't be shy. We're friends here.
That's right. Alex Peacock says, "Isn't Die Hard on a plane? Snakes on a plane? Well, you'd be dying very hard, stuck on a plane with snakes and Samuel L. Jackson. That's for sure."
Oh, James said Roger Cross, who played Curtis in 24, turns up later too.
Okay.
Okay, so Tommy Lee Jones he owns this.
Hmm.
Every scene he's in knocks it out of the park.
It seems like, I mean, this is the second film in as many weeks where Tommy Lee Jones has been one of the bad guys here. Calbot says, was just looking at Seagal's filmography, and I believe this is the first and only Steven Seagal movie that I've ever actually watched. Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
Well, as Sharon was saying, and I think she's right, this film, when it came out, it had a lot of notoriety. It might have helped perpetuate Seagal's career for a few years longer than its original shelf life.
yeah, he was known as an action star. Was in a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
but it was always the um, not like well, he's kind of like a B-list actor at the time. I
Hmm.
mean, he made plenty of movies. We might not have seen them all because they really weren't all blockbusters. I think, yeah, this was a major blockbuster.
Hmm. Yeah. I don't have the numbers, but it must have done well because I know that the sequel came out and that had a lot of notoriety too, although
Yeah.
not as well received as this.
Um, yeah, I think the budget for this movie, I can go back and refresh my memory. It was somewhere in the midst of 40 million. And by its end of its run, it made like 160 million.
Oh
Very
wow,
respectable.
pretty good for
But
'92.
yeah, but if you took out Busey, if you took out Jones, if you took out the supporting cast, would it have been as successful? Who knows? I mean, it's solid story, solid action from start to finish. Plus, you have Miss July. I mean, what's not to like? Oh, is that you? We have a lot of feedback, or is that me?
I don't know. I've got my sound turned down.
Okay. Oh, Calbot bought this for the watch party in a 3-pack with Above the Law and Under Siege 2. So I will at least be watching those two at some point.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I hear Under Siege 2 is pretty good, though it didn't um, do as well as this first one. I don't think the critics um, dug the sequel, but
Mhm. Oh my goodness.
yeah, they're
Oh, I forgot that Busey did this.
he's entertaining the troops. I don't know as if he would pass for like Miss August. Um, but he's such a great character actor.
Mhm.
He could do
Oh yeah. Well, got to keep those gams covered though, Busey. Oof.
Really, Miss Swift said critics like the sequel better.
Really?
Ah, that does not happen very often.
No.
And has anybody here seen the sequel? Um, Actually, I think there was a comment earlier about the sequel. I think James Hellier, did you see that sequel? If I remember that comment. Yeah, James Hellier. I liked Under Siege too. Yeah, and that would be Under Siege 2 is like Die Hard on a train. Oh, dude, take the pies out of the oven. I mean, don't burn the pies.
Oh, those pies are toast. Literally.
Yeah.
Miss Swift says that the sequel also had Everett McGill from Twin Peaks slash Dune slash People Under the Stairs. Interesting.
Oh, I think was he the bad guy? One of the bad guys.
That
I've seen
that would go
trailers.
along with Everett McGill if it's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, Everett McGill played the pastor in Silver Bullet. I think that's the same actor. Oh, James Hellier says it was Gary Busey's idea to do this in drag. The studio wasn't keen, so they offered to shoot two versions, one with drag and one without. But Busey was so funny they didn't bother filming it straight. I believe it.
I believe it too.
So here's where. Oh, yeah, we're about to get into it. Yeah, I'm getting some feedback of the movie coming through here. Let me
Let's see.
see. I don't want to turn.
Well, Johnny Devick says that Eric was added by Seagal. He found it fun to have a stripper tagging along. Yeah, I can imagine why.
Go.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Here we go, guys. We're about 20 minutes in.
Of course, now it makes perfect sense why he was asking for the highest ranking person in the room.
But reality aside, this is a fun action movie. Of course, it would never happen in real life. You would hope. Yes, Johnny Devick. This is Seagal's only nominated movie.
Wow.
I think it was nominated for a couple awards. I don't think it won anything.
I would bet solid money that Seagal himself did not get a nomination, but I'd be interested to know where the nominations came from.
Um, Nominations for sound mixing, sound editing, and an MTV Movie Award for Best Action Sequence.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, let's see if it won any of those. Mm-hmm.
Well, Johnny Devitt
I
says that executive order was payback from the studio for his latest flop, which was the one in Alaska. Well, that does add some context.
And it was shortly thereafter that Seagal started going into. Wasn't he a police officer for a while, or he just vanished? Oh yeah, he was accused of a whole bunch of stuff too.
Oof.
Here we go. There's a whole lot of deaths. Is anybody keeping track of how many people are getting shot? Yes, Mad Matt Colm is a meanie, of course, the famous Cole Meany of Star Trek fame, you name it. He's one of those guys.
Hmm. Anybody in the chat ever served? Any sailors among us? I'd be interested to learn a little more of the authenticity of this. Obviously, Navy wouldn't be accustomed to these kind of insurgencies, or maybe they would. But I'd be interested to see like if the Navy would like entertain parties like this, lower their security for this particular sort of thing, or maybe if this film changed some policies as a result.
Yeah, the whole thing is obviously fiction, but I wonder if the military kind of thought about this movie going, I wonder if anyone's going to have ideas we might want to tighten up here and there,
Right.
security wise. Yeah, as far as my knowledge goes, they would never let anybody fly in a helicopter like this without having a thorough background check, having ID, having everything already checked out. And then they would have found that these two have some kind of friendship, you know.
Hmm.
But it makes a good story. A psycho first officer, partnered with a psycho intel man. Yes, Alex, and Busey here is finding out about the cook. Everybody would have already known about the cook. James Hillier went on a ferry once. Does that count?
That's probably more than most. Folksel.
So yeah, Tommy Lee Jones plays not just a lead singer, but he knows his way around a ship,
Hmm.
battleship. To be exact. Yes, Mad Matt, the secure 3.5-inch floppy disk. Remember the floppy disks?
Hmm. I
And
still
that was,
remember. I still remember using those as part of some of my required assignments in college.
hmm and back then they were high tech.
Oh yeah,
Storage wise, they could probably hold about 2 documents, and
that's
that
right.
was it.
Who's this Mister Pitt guy? Looks like Goebbels.
So everybody has their role, just like Die Hard.
Yeah.
The Die Hard crew, all of them have the role. Um, this guy's job is to break into the system and control the electronics, communications.
Oh, the forecastle. Okay. Is it that much harder to say forecastle instead of focusal or forecastle, whatever he was calling it?
Forecastle. Is that like a real part of the boat?
Well, your
Ship,
guess
I
is
should
as good
say.
as mine, I would assume.
Yeah. Oh, Johnny Devick says 1.44 megabytes. Yeah, that was probably 2 documents worth of data.
That would definitely be less than one video file that lasted more than a few seconds. That's true.
No kidding. So for a private, he just seemed a bit too nervous.
Yep. Especially for something that should be relatively mundane.
Yep. And if he's a naval, he's not he's not an officer, but to be in the Navy, got to be pretty tough.
Oh yeah.
I mean, look at these guys just carving at the meat and eating the meat. I love it. It's a fun scene. And drinking champagne.
They're
I
all
mean, these
drinking
guys are,
champagne. These guys are a little too loose.
yep. But they're drinking it in those fluted glasses. They're classy.
Yeah, I've actually got a few of those glasses. I only ever bust them out for when I drink champagne, which usually is only around New Year's.
So, quick question for anybody who knows. So the one of the awards that it was nominated for was Best Action Sequence. Which action sequence in the movie would they have been referring to?
Hmm.
Um, we've seen one or two of them so far, so I'm going to kind of keep my eye open, um, and see if there's one that stands out to anybody that would have been particularly, I don't know, fantastical.
Hmm. Well, Johnny Devick says he found his Dragon's Lair floppy disk, and Alex Peacock says that Monkey Island took five 3.5 floppies. I can remember trying to play Riven, and it had like 4 or 5 CD-ROMs that you had to interchange every time you went to a different area. That's about as far back as I remember going.
And that was a sequel to the game Myst.
Yes.
Um, yeah, and when you would buy games like that back in the, I think, mid '90s,
Oh yeah.
the case would be this thick, and you
Hmm.
would have 5 or 6 discs.
Oh yeah.
But those were just the like the little CD-ROMs. Um, oh no, this poor
This,
kid.
this private.
Ah, poor private. He didn't do anything wrong, you know. He did what he was told. So, um, we've gone from like the CDs. We went to DVD games. So you might have like 2 of those for a game. Then we went to the, oh, that poor kid.
There's no reason to kill him at that point if you're just gonna.
He was doing fine. So it is interesting how games and movies have progressed, and high density discs. And nowadays, games can fit on one DVD, one Blu-ray.
Oh yeah.
Well, this is what makes a great action thriller drama, is just a lot of death, a lot of killing.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's an easy way to raise the stakes and really show the bad guys are bad, so that we don't try to sympathize with them.
That's right. So here's a question. So raising the question about, sympathizing with the bad guy, who in the chat has seen Die Hard, and not just seen Die Hard, but actually was kind of rooting for Hans Gruber and his crew to actually succeed.
Uh,
Um,
I think I can
they,
probably count myself among that group.
yeah, they were a tight knit. I mean, they knew bing, bang, bing. They knew exactly what to do. Everything would have gone off without a hitch if it had not been for John McClane.
And I think that speaks to Alan Rickman's performance and how charming and charismatic he was in that, which was his first film role. Really set the standard.
Yeah, he nailed it. Yeah, Johnny Devick says, nope, they were bad. Yeah.
You
Alex says, I'm in with the thieves in Die Hard. I was rooting for him.
I can tell Seagal means business because now he's only in a tank top.
He did. He took off his shirt, and yeah, you can see him now. Schwarzenegger does it. Stallone did it. Everybody does it.
James, I'm with you. I was definitely rooting for Al Pal too.
Yeah, Pal was nice.
I wish he had gotten a little more in a cameo in Die Hard too, but I guess I understand where that came from.
Yeah, he was just in the middle. No, he was in the beginning, and it was like just that phone scene. That was it.
Yeah.
So, who liked Die Hard 2 better than Die Hard? That's a question.
I am not part of that group.
It was pretty good. I don't know as if it ranked better than Die Hard, but it was a solid sequel. I got a big kick out of it.
I would agree. I think the passage of time is, warmed people's hearts a little more to it. But I think at the time, I think it was seen as a sequel that just didn't quite live up to the same kind of quality, same kind of success as the first one. Eric says he can't decide. Love them both. I like them both, but I would definitely give the edge to Die Hard 1 there. Now, if we were
Yeah.
to include Die Hard with a Vengeance, then my decision gets a little more difficult.
Okay. Oh, Eric can't decide. I love them both. There you go. Cowbot says Cole Meany was the pilot on the plane that crashed in Die Hard 2.
Hmm.
I might have to revisit that movie again. It's been a while. So this is kind of a blooper. I don't know if anybody had noticed. Um, the captain, when he was shot, was in his chair, and now when he's comes in and guy's on the floor. I think that was kind of like a blooper they didn't intend. Someone on continuity was maybe took the day off.
Well, there's the F-18. I think we're up to F-22s now. Chat. Maybe someone
Hmm.
who's a aircraft
Anybody know?
enthusiast can remind me what contract the military is up to now.
Oh, Alex Peacock. I enjoyed John Amos in Die Hard too. Yeah, he played the what the leader of the crew that was supposedly going to save everybody. Just like clockwork, that yeah, the F-18 was sent to save them,
Hmm.
but
Common
alas.
trope in these kind of movies that even when the proper authorities are notified, they're just no match for the organization of the bad guys who thought of every contingency except for the cook in the meat locker.
That's right, except for the cook. Yeah, James, the Air Force would never send a single F-18. They always travel in pairs. Absolutely.
Well, Johnny Duvik, I agree. I like Die Hard 4 too. I kind of like each Die Hard for its own pieces, but the first one or maybe Vengeance would be my favorites there. If you excuse me for a moment, Sharon, my
Yes,
better half needs to be fed. I'll be right back.
yes, absolutely. I got it covered. So, yes, Johnny Devitt, Tommy Lee looks like a hippie. Yep, that's part of his cover. So, as part of the band, so what they weren't like background checked? That was my question. They weren't background checked at all. And the catering crew. Let's not forget, they all had weapons. They all came on board, and everybody was able to get in position and overtake the battleship. Makes for a great movie, though. Um, Alex Peacock says Die Hard 5, not a Die Hard movie. Was that the one with Timothy Oliphant? Was that Die Hard 5? Because I can't remember which we're up to, like 5 or 6. Um, so if that was Die Hard 5, it really, yeah, it wasn't really a Die Hard movie. It just had John McClane's character in it, saving the day again. Um, yeah, Eric, two F-18s would not have made a difference. Um, it might have if only one of them was targeted at a time, the other might have been able to get away, or at least communicate what was going on, I guess. Oh, okay, Alex. 5 was the one with his kids in it. Yeah, that I think that was the Timothy Oliphant, right? No, Live Free or Die Hard is the one with Oliphant. James says. Okay. You know, when you get a franchise that has more than 4, I think I might have to write down which one is which. Okay, so Oliphant was 4, 5.
Yeah, 5 was the Russian one, right?
Okay, so maybe that wasn't the one that I don't know if I've seen 5. Maybe I checked out after 4 with the Oliphant one. Okay, A Good Day to Die Hard is the one in Russia with his son, James Hellier says. It's a bad movie. Did it come out recently? Is that the one I'm thinking of that I completely missed because I
Um,
think Die Hard's days are done?
correct me if I'm wrong.
It,
I think Die Hard 5 came out in the 2010s, late 2010s.
okay.
I remember it came and went very quickly. It really was not a very good film.
Okay. Let's see. Good Day to Die Hard came out in 2013.
Yep. Oh,
And
there
at a
you go.
certain point, the franchise it just needs to end.
Yes, I agree. I was intrigued. There was a talk of going back and doing a Die Hard Year One, which would have taken place with a younger McClane back in the 70s, which seemed intriguing. But they really would have to
Mm,
do something like that. Maybe bring in another actor or do a prequel, or just let it go. Because honestly, it was really the progenitor of the modern action movie. So it's really got nothing else to really contribute at this point. Nothing that could really be new.
yeah, absolutely. And I think wisely so. The franchise has just died out because there is nothing new.
Right. And of course, unfortunately, Bruce Willis, with his mental issues right now, he's just not in the capacity to be able to really act anymore.
Yeah. So of course this famous trope of a room full of military generals, everybody in charge, everybody, the smartest guy in the room is any one of these guys, supposedly, they are being outsmarted by the bad guys.
Yep.
And it's funny to realize that probably is the case a lot of times in real life, where the guys in charge really aren't the smartest guys in the room. They've put in their time and they've been owed their position. I don't
Mhm.
know. But you would think that they know what they're doing. But in the movie, if they knew what they were doing and they could shut the movie down, it would be for a very short movie.
Absolutely.
So in that previous scene, you could just see Tommy Lee Jones, how frustrated he was, and it was just on his face, and he couldn't hide it. He's just a phenomenal underrated actor. Um, and what's interesting about like the next movie he was in for The Fugitive, and he did win the Academy Award for it.
That was going to be my next comment.
Looking back, did he really win it for The Fugitive or for his body of work up until that point? And the Academy says, man, he just deserves this. He's so good. And I wonder that sometimes with a lot of these actors that get awards sometimes. But I mean, Tommy Lee Jones was so deserving.
Hmm.
Yes, James, he's not underrated. He has an Oscar. Yes, that's true.
Tell me I didn't miss the part where Miss July pops out of the cake. Is that about to happen here?
That's about to happen.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
she
goodness.
hasn't popped out yet. I don't know if any of you forgot about her, but they put her in a room to change for her to pop out of a cake. And here's the cake. Yeah, this is the scene.
Ooh la la. Is the music motion activated as soon as she popped the seal on the cake?
That's what I think is as soon as he moved the cake, I think that's when the lights came on and the music started. And so it makes you wonder how long was she in that cake?
Right. And how
and
did
did
she have no idea what was going on around her?
no idea what was going on. And she was in that cake for at least, what, an hour, hour and a half while all the action played out. Oh, Johnny Devick says, can't believe I'm watching this on Disney Plus.
Oh my goodness.
Well, Disney's come a long way, I guess.
Damn. I wish I'd known that before. I might have been watching this for free instead of renting it on Prime. It never would have occurred to me that this would have been Disney Plus for this and for other reasons.
Yeah, it's on a lot of the streaming services. Um, I'm kind of surprised it's on Disney Plus, but again, Disney Plus owns a whole bunch of streaming rights.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a good one, James. The music is booby activated.
Calbot, I'm curious where you found that other GIF from. Calbot's posted a GIF on the Discord channel of a decidedly less impressive cake emergence.
Yes, and Mad Matt posted that GIF with the cake. Be kind, rewind, because that was the scene that most, I think, most young boys or older boys would rewind and watch over and over again. So that part of the tape is a little bit grainier and shows a little bit more wear. But you know what? I bet it put a lot of people in the movie seats, and
Yeah,
it made money.
I'm sure it helped with rental sales as well,
Mhm.
which is where a lot of
Absolutely.
these films really make most of their money. Calbot, that's disconcerting. That was the first thing that came up when you searched cake stripper. That makes me sad, but
Yes, Alex, this and that part in Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
hmm,
Yeah. Oh, Miss Swift. Yes, that is Hunter, the TV show. That is mid to late 80s, I believe.
yeah, James, I think you're right. Although I think Basic Instinct is notorious for its scene, whereas this is just a kind of a nice little add-on. Although I will admit, we haven't really seen a whole lot of Seagal's patented slappy slap kind of martial arts yet. I'm wondering when that's going to come in.
I think we have some of it coming up. Huh. Let's hope he kicks some ass.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's not going to be
Well,
safe to be banging on the locker like that.
um, she does. She does add a little bit of humor, of levity to this movie, although it really doesn't need it. It reminds me a lot of Predator with all of that testosterone. Great action movie, buffed guys everywhere, lots of fighting and killing. Um, yeah, fine by me. So they haven't discovered the identity of Ryback's character, right? Of his
Mm,
background.
yeah. I,
Oh, Miss Swift, another frequently rewound scene, Kyle Reese's booty in the love scene. Go figure.
I bet. Well, Michael Bean's always, always been in pretty good shape.
Oh, Alex, buff versus beefcake. Is there a difference?
Huh.
Um, If there is, I think it's very slight. I think buff has more to do with like the physical appearance. Beefcake is the overall appeal, sex appeal, I think. I don't know. Just like John McClane, he's getting under their skin.
Yeah. Is it weird that I really want to know what kind of pies those are now?
Yeah, we never did see. They were
And
put in the oven, and that was it.
and that microwave bomb thing, I feel like that was set up a long time ago. Weird that that's only just
Yeah.
paying off right as they decide to come down and inspect it.
So you wonder, probably no more than 10 minutes, but it seems like the events would have taken a lot longer to play out.
Yeah, I would say so far that the pacing here has been like a little bit slow. I feel like once things started picking up in Die Hard, it was kind of like just nonstop, like something happening, something happening, something happening. But feels like so far Steven Seagal hasn't done a whole heck of a lot yet.
Not yet. They haven't really engaged with the bad guys yet. It's all reconnaissance right now.
Oh, James Hellier clarifies the microwave bomb went off because they turned the power back on. Okay, that makes a little more sense.
Oh, that does make sense. Here I am thinking he turned the knob like all the way on the microwave, and you figure maybe no more than 10 minutes.
hmm And Calbot, that does remind me of what Catwoman did in Batman Returns, where she puts the all the spray cans in the microwave and turns it on, and then a few minutes later, boom.
I feel kind of blessed I have not seen that movie.
You've not seen Batman Returns?
If I have, I've completely spaced it.
I think we found another one you got to add to our list here. Then
Okay. Because why am I not remembering that?
it'd be
I
hard.
remember
To,
that I remember
Calbot,
she
I was
did.
about to say the same thing. It is a Christmas movie. It's a yearly watch for me. Yes, I think if you haven't seen it, Sharon, I think we might have to add that as a watch party watch, unless we've already done it before. I don't know that we have,
No, maybe I have because it was Michael Keaton came back as Batman.
right?
Danny DeVito was the Penguin.
Right?
Maybe I have.
Old Johnny Devick says the Nolan Batman is overrated. I don't know if I'd go so far as to say that,
Huh.
Johnny, but I will say that Keaton is and has always been my favorite Batman.
I would. I think I would agree with that. Um, Having grown up with the Adam West TV show Batman, that hits you a little different. It's Batman's a comic book character. Then here comes Michael Keaton, and it's not a comic book anymore. So
Yep.
he really did deliver, and it set the bar really high.
Mm.
Um, but then Christian Bale came along with his trilogy. I don't know.
Yep. Old Johnny Devick, I would agree though. Mask of Phantasm might be the best Batman
Hmm.
story that I've ever seen put to film before. It's a real shame, a real crime that that film kind of fizzled and disappeared from most people's reckoning. But that was right when the animated series was at its peak, and it's really is a gem.
Johnny Depp loved Batman Begins. Interesting.
Like cocaine.
Hmm. The Batman movies. Um, as a franchise have done very well with very different iterations, very different storytelling, very different foundations, very different ideas. But it all boils down to the character of Batman and whether we can get behind the iteration that you're watching. And
Hmm.
I think it was overall, I think it's been very successful. I think it was James Hellier said about Batman 66. Um, yeah, I think, where was the comment? Batman 66. It is in my watch party list, though. Batman 66, I think it was a great fun.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that would be an interesting study of doing the franchise of Batman.
Sure. It makes me wonder if maybe he has already overtaken like Sherlock Holmes or Dracula as one of the most like
Hmm.
filmed fictional characters at this point. I'm sure Batman's got to be in the top five by now, if not leading the list.
What is that? She's asking like it's going to make any sense to her when you ask what is that, and he's going to explain it to her, and she's going to be like, okay, I don't know, whatever. Was she added as a character to soften Rybeck's character and play off his his toughness, and she's all soft and warm and fuzzy or whatever? Um,
Hmm.
yeah, that's interesting. I mean, come on, guys. All of these leaders, military brains, can't do anything.
Right.
Um, but okay, so this scene plays the same way that Die Hard did. How do we know he's not one of them?
That's right.
It's the same. Right, Johnny Devick, there is no reason for her being there other than, you know, it's okay. She does serve a purpose. Oh,
So,
oh, Johnny Devick says Justice League animated is also good. Was such a good
oh
time
yeah,
with Batman.
yeah, I would
Yeah,
agree. I mean, Batman animated series kind of opened the door for the whole DC animated
yeah,
universe. It was kind of like their version of the MCU before the MCU, the closest they came to a successful, connected universe. But I would agree that especially Justice League Unlimited, especially when they got to the second season, they really had some interesting storytelling there, and they brought in a lot of interesting side characters that didn't really have a lot of notoriety outside the comics.
well, he's probably one of the most prolific of the DC universe.
Yes.
Well, Spider-Man is too. Although, is anybody keeping up with who owns what character? I think Spider-Man is now. Spider-Man is Marvel and DC, and then they're all under the same umbrella. Probably Disney
I
owns
think
everything.
I think Spider-Man is still partially or mostly owned by Sony, and so Marvel has to kind of like make deals with them in order to like keep Spider-Man in the MCU because really Spider-Man's the only IP that Sony has they can make money off of. It's clear that they don't know how to make a decent superhero film with anything else that they have.
Yeah.
So they're going to keep a vice grip on the Spider-Man IP, I think, as long as they possibly can. Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
Johnny's agreeing with
Yep.
everything here.
Sony owns the movie rights.
Yeah, I wish it was not so, but yeah, that's the way the business is right now.
Yeah. I think so. I think that I won't give any spoilers away, but so they're building that rail system to offload the missiles. That's pretty clever. Sell the missiles. Hmm.
These things are going to sell.
Yeah, Cowbot. Sony can now only make MCU Spider-Man movies, which is why they are making a lot of Spider-Man adjacent movies without Spider-Man. Yeah, getting around the rights.
Hmm.
And I try to follow it all, but then all of a sudden, Deadpool, Wolverine, everybody's now in the same universe. It's kind of cool.
Well, I tell you, I'm still waiting for Fantastic Four and the X-Men to get in there. It still doesn't really feel like a shared Marvel universe unless the X-Men and the Fantastic Four are part of it. I'm not sure why it took so long for them to get around to that, especially when the MCU is on life support right now. But I just hope they do it right, so that would definitely help the longevity of the MCU if they can integrate these characters and do it the right way.
Well, yeah, we'll see how long they can keep these characters alive, and it all comes down to money. See if
Yeah,
if they can make money on them, but they have to make something the audience wants to see and pay for.
yeah,
And a lot of the stuff they're coming out with, nobody wants to see or pay for.
yeah. I
Um,
think to a degree there's some oversaturation. They just need to kind of slow things down, do like only one or maybe two movies a year, and just like work on the writing, get it straight, figure out the story, and kind of do what they did, before with the whole Infinity Saga. If they can kind of go back to that, I
right.
think they'll be back in the black again. Alex, I agree. I've been watching the Daredevil Born Again series, and I really like what they're doing with that.
Yep. I was just going to mention that it's going good so far. I'm very pleased. But it takes, unfortunately, it takes the people in charge. It takes a lot more than just wanting to get something made to make it good.
Right.
Um, and a lot of it has just been failing lately. I think just because they want to keep churning it out and make sure people don't forget about these characters,
No.
but it doesn't make it good. Oh, that was great. I mean, the door just smacked him. You would think that the bad guys outnumber him. They would.
Yeah, I mean, there was at least 30 guys on that deck, and all he did was like kick one in the head and then use his gun. Like he really hasn't used his martial arts skills really at all so far.
What is the forecastle? Is that the
I guess
like the
that's near
forward?
the bow of the ship. At least that's what it showed on the diagram. Oh, now they're taking on water?
He's flooding. He's flooding the compartment. He's going to kill his own man because he knows Ryback's going to save him. That's just nasty. What happened to loyalty?
Well, I think Busey's character just matches his own kind of mania at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much money you would have to make in order to do something to that to your crew.
Mhm.
Ugh.
Well, the earlier Tommy Lee Jones's character asked him what he would do with $200 million. I guess that's the payday he's looking for.
That's the payday.
Said he
And
would.
maybe is it 200 million his cut or 200 million for all of those missiles?
Well, it sounded like he
Um,
was insinuating that Busey himself would get 200 million. So maybe they're planning on getting like $1 billion for these missiles, and then that's just going to be his cut.
Yeah. Um, Alex Peacock uploaded a GIF. I was that from Titanic when the
Yes.
Titanic started flooding below decks.
Yeah.
Or
Alex,
that's
I
an
was thinking the same thing. As soon as I see a boat flooding below
yeah.
decks, I mean, I immediately jump to Titanic too.
Yep.
Johnson, you get over here, you got that door, you're gonna come through, you shoot. They can't, so you okay? Yeah. You okay?
I know that guy, Raymond Cruz.
Hmm.
He's been in a lot of good
Oh
stuff.
yeah, yeah. He's a big character actor.
And I want to say he is on, I don't know what he's on right now, but I think he used to be on either Cold Case or the show about the New York Department for Missing People. What is that show? Missing?
Hmm.
I can't remember. Yes, and the dude from ER, the guy who was at the front desk in ER for many many seasons.
Huh.
Oh, I love that. Must have been a power surge, huh?
So to disable their weapon systems, we're gonna have
Yes, James. Thank you. Without a trace. That's it. That is it. And Without a Trace was on the same time that also the first the original CSI Las Vegas show was on. I think they were both on the same night. Oh, The Closer. Thank you, Miss Swift. That's where I remember him from. The Closer.
no hard feelings. I had no grudge against you and the rest of them. You did your best.
Yeah, I'm getting some loud feedback, Mr. Furzel. Is that coming through your computer? I keep
Uh,
thinking it's me.
I'm not hearing anything, but I'll turn things down a little bit here.
Because I have a feeling we're going to get one of those action sequences that might be really loud, like excitingly loud. Yeah, then we have the pretty boy soldier who doesn't want to get himself all dirty.
And he also strikes me as familiar too.
He's not in uniform. He's just like, I'm too good for all that.
Hmm.
Let's see. See if we can pull up a name for that guy.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
the old scuba tank bomb trick.
Yeah. So they're on a battleship just firing guns willy-nilly. Isn't that kind of like firing in a submarine?
Right.
You probably don't want to do that.
I gotta believe with all those thick bulkheads, you're just gonna get a lot of ricochets bouncing around.
Yeah. Did you just see that Alex Peacock's gif?
Yeah, major
You'll
pain.
get no sympathy from me. You want sympathy. Look in the dictionary between shit and syphilis. That's a good one. Well, that's a good comment, James. It's not going to be sunk by small arms fire.
True.
Now, there's some heavy machinery, though.
Oh
So
yeah.
I just kind of wonder about that. That's an impressive ship.
Yeah.
She just takes control. So here's an interesting comment. Cowbot says, I think that that guy, that pretty boy, was the Army's recruiting slogan. Oh, no, no, that it's not a joke. It's not a job, it's an adventure. That was the Army's recruiting slogan.
Hmm.
I wonder, and if anybody knows this, shout it out. When you have a movie, a military based movie like this, where you really see him kicking ass, what does that do for recruitment? Um, does it even have an effect on recruitment? Do young boys watch these kind of movies and say, that's what I want to do and go sign up?
Well, I know that when Top Gun came out back in '86, I know that the Navy saw like a 400% increase in enlistment or like Navy pilot registration. So I think if it comes out the right time and is popular, I think it certainly has a positive effect.
Yeah, James shared your sentiment too. Top Gun had a big effect.
Yep.
Yeah, and I guess it just depends on, like you said, when it comes out, how it comes out, and actually, what else is going on in the world.
Yep.
9/11 had a big effect on recruitment.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, movies and television have a big cultural impact, and it just hits people differently.
Hmm.
Just to put this in perspective, we have about a half hour left.
Hmm.
And we've had quite a few action scenes. It does get a little bit slow when,
Oof.
yeah,
Well, there's a good kill.
that's a hell of a way to die.
Hmm.
Oh, when we're cutting between the action and then we go to Command Central with everybody around the desk, it just you're missing that opportunity to just keep the action going and keeping the audience engaged.
Hmm.
But it still works. See, he's doing a little bit of this.
Okay, so here's a little
Martial
bit of
arts.
his. Yeah.
There you go. So if anybody, oh geez, yeah. Ugh. If they were trained at all they would have to do is take, 4 or 5 guys, jump him from behind, and he'd be done.
Right. What's more, I mean, unless I'm mistaken, I mean, now that he's also rescued a few of the other sailors, I mean, he's got some backup, which is more than McLean ever had.
That's true. McLean was solo the whole way.
Yep.
Oh, I love this little scene about insider trading. He knows what's going to happen. He wants his stock sold before it tanks.
Hmm.
Okay, way to go. Oh, Mad Matt, yeah, railed him. Where are all the quippy one-liners? Oh, Johnny Devick, don't double bill with Full Metal Jacket. Full Metal Jacket. I mean, I don't know if it actually ever gets better than that. That is full on one of the best um, army slash military war movies I had ever seen.
Hmm.
And it took me a while. I saw it years ago, I think when it first hit the rental market. I saw it and it just stayed with me. I couldn't watch it for years after.
Hmm. You'd think you'd have some of the guys maybe put those fires out. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's not going to be a good thing. Even if boat stays afloat.
There should be people on fire detail. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, guys. Yes, Alex Peacock, Full Metal Jacket and Platoon is good if rough double bill.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that would be
that
rough.
would be a lot. Yeah. Well, that's it. They're out of ideas. That's it, guys. What do we do? I don't know. Nothing left.
I'm surprised they're just going to be like, all right, we'll have to nuke it.
Just nuke them.
Hmm. Old
Nuke the
Johnny
site
Devick,
from orbit.
old Johnny Devick's talking about wanting to see Virus and Deep Rising. Johnny, I
Oh,
I remember
yeah.
trying to find a copy of Deep Rising a year or two ago, and it's very rare. Apparently, it's very hard to find. Virus,
Hmm.
maybe not so much, but that was definitely a creepy body horror one.
Are you looking for Deep Rising DVD? You want the physical media?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm a fan still of having films physically, whether it's DVD, Blu-ray, or what have you. But
Yeah, I get it. I was a hoarder of VHS. Then I switched to DVDs, and then it
mhm,
just got to be too much. Had to sell everything,
mm,
and then I started getting back into it when you realize when you buy a movie on a streaming service, and I'm sure we've had this conversation many times. You're not actually buying that movie to own. They can pull those rights from you at any time. So
right,
you don't really own it. You just own the rights to watch it whenever you want for how long as you want, as
right.
long as they allow you to watch it.
And as long as you have that account,
Yep.
so yeah, that's part of the reason I just prefer to just when I own a film, I want to say I've got it, it's physical, and then I can decide when and where I want to see it or if I want to copy it or whatever.
I thought that's what he was using. He found a condom.
Okay, thank
Huh.
you, because that was going to be my next question, and I was afraid to
That
ask.
was yes. I mean, a bunch of guys on a ship. I guess you're bound to have it.
Of course, would have been
Um,
another good opportunity for a one-liner, but yeah, I guess that's not Seagal's style here.
no. Oh, James has titles he bought on VHS, widescreen VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, and now 4K. 4K is the new iteration of everything. And the problem that I am encountering is they're still making DVDs, they're making the 4Ks,
Yep,
they're making the Blu-rays,
yep,
but there's a lot of companies that aren't making them anymore.
yep.
So does that mean we're only going to be able to get the physical copies of the media under certain movie studios?
Yep.
I don't know. What's the future? Because a lot of them don't want to be printing them anymore.
Yeah. And I've never gotten behind 4K only because my current player, my current TV doesn't really support it. So
Yes,
I'd much rather prefer to have something on DVD or Blu-ray. I feel like that has more longevity and is going to prove to have more longevity than 4K, which, as far as I know, could just be the next like HD DVD. Could just come and go in a year or so and then just be done.
that's true. Well, you know what? With 4K, you can't play on a. I don't know. Can you? Can you play it on a regular DVD player?
No, not really.
I don't think DVDs have upscaled. You can, like a 4K player, you can play DVDs and
Right.
Blu-rays, but nothing is compatible up the chain. Everything is compatible down the chain. So
Yeah.
we invest all this time and effort into Blu-rays, then they're going to 4K. Now 4K, now we have to buy new devices, new discs, and then they're going to go to something else.
Yep.
But at least we have the physical media.
Yep.
So I'm starting to build up my collection again. Yes, Alex Peacock says 4K is pretty solid, but I still keep DVDs and Blu-rays of some titles for different cuts and prints. Absolutely.
I also miss the ability to buy a new movie and actually have it like include both like DVD and Blu-ray versions. Even just a few years ago, that was fairly common, but now it feels like if I want to have a film on Blu-ray and DVD, I have to just buy them separately.
Yeah, they're not including them as a set.
Yeah, but I would gladly pay a couple extra bucks if they would just include the two of them together, just so that I could have them and not have to, worry about buying multiple copies just in
Yeah,
case.
that's true. Oh, she actually killed someone. Yay! She saved his life. She's a badass.
Hmm.
Johnny Devick, yes, Blu-ray is good enough. Blu-ray,
I
I thought
agree.
was top of the line. Love it.
Yep, gives me more than enough quality as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
I got LASIK a few years ago. My eyes are as good as they can be now. I can't imagine, them being good enough to appreciate every little pixel that's in there. So I think we've kind of reached a,
Exactly.
saturation
I had
point.
that too. I had LASIK about 10 years ago, so I only need these to read up close.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It really has been a game changer.
absolutely. I went from being nearsighted to now I can see far. I just can't see up close.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Calbot. 4K looks a little too real, if that makes sense. Yes, it's too. Um, what's the word? It's not pixelated. The opposite. It's too high def to the point where your eye can't tell the difference.
Mm.
But you know that something's off because it looks too detailed, more detail than your eye can differentiate, but it's there.
Right. Miss Swift, Michael DeBar was that the guy speaking Italian?
Yes, that is Michael DeBar.
Okay.
Yep. I also thought the same thing when I saw it last night. That can't be him because I don't think he's credited. But he just had that one scene, that one line.
Hmm.
Yes, Alex Peacock, too hyper real. Yeah, there's only so much that the human eye can differentiate. And with technology taking it past what we can see and tell apart, you're gonna see something is off, but not know what it is.
Yep.
But what do I know? I like my Blu-rays. DVD, Blu-ray, good enough.
Absolutely. I still have a bunch of films on VHS that still work on my VCR. So if that could last 30 plus years, then I'm sure my DVDs and Blu-rays will do the same.
Oh, this is a great scene. So the submarine is just kind of sailing away. And if I'm not mistaken, it already has the missiles on board, right? I think all the missiles were loaded and it's sailing away.
What's Tommy Lee drinking right there? Is that a Stella Artois?
A what?
Stella Artois. It's, the French one.
Oh, okay.
But then again, I'm probably wrong just because I don't think Stella does I don't think they do their draft stuff in bottles. I think it might be like a light. I don't know.
Well, obviously he's celebrating.
Oh
He's
yeah.
celebrating. I'm guessing because all the missiles have been loaded, he's about to cash in.
Yeah, whenever the bad guys are just a few minutes away from winning, that's when the hero comes in, does their work.
So I am guessing, remember your comment before about how accurate this is, it was actually filmed on a battleship, so at least the scenery is real. I
Yeah,
am guessing that going through the motions, it's got to be fairly accurate to what
yeah,
you would do in real life.
yeah. I mean, it looks pretty authentic.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, they can't celebrate too early because Ryback and his men are still roaming the ship.
Yep. Calbot, you said Belgium. What's that in reference to?
I think what he was drinking.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Or I wonder if he was referring to something that Johnny here said.
Oh, Michael DeBar does have a screen credit, but Mad Matt just found Kane Hodder in the uncredited list.
Oh, okay. There you go, Calbot. Yeah. Okay. Belgium,
Oh, got
France.
it.
I get them mixed up, as I'm sure many dumb Americans do.
Yeah, I wouldn't know the difference. I have my Fresca and my water. That's what I drink.
Yeah, I mean, now Seagal's got a whole team here helping him
Yep.
fire these shells off.
So they rescued the crew. But yeah, Commander Krill really shouldn't have been out there helping fix the problem. He would have sent his the what, not the lower class, but the men under him. He would have sent them
Mhm.
to fix it so they could dive. Yes, James, it's comic booky when Tommy Lee Jones is sent flying. Oh no. See ya.
Hmm.
Yay! One for the good guys. Yeah, that would have like blown his eardrums, I bet. Yeah, Calbut, you know your beer. Good job. I've heard of that beer. I've just never had it. I had to try it. Oh, James Hellier, was that your comment before about Tommy Lee Jones's Coyote and Roadrunner was improvised? Um, I bet he picked it up because his character just mentioned the Saturday morning cartoons. Maybe a little backstory on his character. No, the Swedish cook was from the Muppets. Swedish chef. Oh, yes, Calbot, Tommy Lee Jones. He did play Two-Face.
Yep.
Um which Batman movie was it? I know it was one of um the Christian Bale ones, right?
Batman and Robin. The son, the kid.
Maybe, was it?
Oh, it was the. Oh,
I
you're
know it
right.
was,
You're right. Yeah, it was Batman Forever because that had
was it?
Riddler in it.
Okay. Yeah, Christopher Nolan did that whole trilogy.
Hmm. Oh,
I couldn't remember which
that
one.
wasn't Nolan. That was Schumacher did Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. That was after
Oh, that was
Keaton came
before
back.
Christopher Nolan's trilogy.
Right.
Okay. Man, so many to keep straight.
Yep.
Yeah, James, the Val Kilmer. I think Val Kilmer, I think, was one and done.
Just too bad he did a fair Batman, I thought.
You did? I think he
But
got roasted by the critics, didn't he?
well, I mean, he's also notoriously difficult to work with, I hear, and But I mean, I thought his take on it was decent. I mean, nothing to maybe write home about.
You'd think that these guys would put their heads together. But that's what makes this great. It's a great Steven Seagal action movie. Oh, Alex Peacock says Batman Forever introduced the nipple suit with Robin.
Oh yes.
Oh my gosh.
Ugh, didn't need that visual.
Ugh. Thank God I don't have a visual. I'm trying to envision it, and I'm like, no, let's get that out of my brain. Um, so apparently, they have another F-18 en route, and apparently, the chatter was actual chatter, and they dubbed it into the movie
Hmm.
of like a real military encounter. Boy, how did we just keep getting onto this Batman, don't we? Madman says that was George Clooney. He keeps apologizing for Batman. Wasn't he one and done too? George Clooney,
Yep.
Val Kilmer, one and done. That was it.
Yeah. Although they did bring Clooney back for a cameo at the end of the Flash movie that came out a couple years
Mm,
ago as part of like the multiversal thing DC was trying to emulate from Marvel. Didn't work out too well though.
yeah. Oh, did he just yank something out of the guy's throat? He just like bare hand pulled that guy's throat out.
That sounds like a Seagal move.
That was epic.
Dun-na-na, dun-na-na.
Um, which here I was kind of picturing a Seagal, Schwarzenegger, and Stallone movie together.
Hmm.
I don't think they've ever done one together, but we do have the Expendables,
Yep.
right? But Seagal wasn't one of those.
Nope.
Which reminds me of Leslie Nielsen or the airplane. He pulls off his glasses and he's got glasses underneath and he keeps pulling them off as different layers.
Hmm. I think you mean that was Robert Stack in
Was it Robert Stack doing that?
an airplane. Yeah. Miss Swift. Yeah. The holy blank Batman lines. Yeah, I had to bring that in for Batman and Robin.
Yeah, James. Batman and Robin was terrible, terrible. Sometimes in my life I have just had no time for like really stinker movies when you
Hmm.
have to actually find your way to a movie theater or go out and physically rent a movie. There
Mhm.
were times where I just wouldn't go for something so stupid I would regret it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
limited time. You want something that's going to give you a good feeling at the end.
sure. Of course, now with streaming services, it's like if you're
Yeah,
paying the money and those kind of cornball movies are just kind of included, it's easier to be like, well, I got nothing going on right now. I'll see what this is about. And I've
right.
certainly done that my fair share.
Absolutely. And that's a really good way of doing it. Where it's right there in front of you. You don't have to do anything extra, but something comes across your screen that you can give it a try. Now we're going some martial arts. This is impressive.
Oof, got his
I
wrist.
love this hand-to-hand combat. Yes, Alex, sometimes you kind of want a what the hell did I just watch movie? Absolutely. Oh, there is just something energizing about a hand-to-hand combat movie. Scene, anyway. Yeah.
Of course, then at the end of all that, like waving around, it just comes down to like, I got your hand, you got mine, and who's going to be stronger.
Yep. And shoves his thumb in his eye and then a knife in the head. Yeah. That was great. That was a great kill.
I've always kind of wondered about that. It's like you very rarely see when two people are fighting to the death, and it's hand to hand. You rarely like there'll always be a point when like the bad guy gets the good guy on his back, and he's like trying to strangle him or hold him down or something. But you never see them go for the eyes. That would be my first thing, so
Yeah.
that if nothing else, I've blinded the person and put him in enough pain that maybe he gets off of me. But if not, at the very least, he's going to be blind the rest of his life.
Yeah. Absolutely. You can't recover easily from having your eyes gouged out like that.
Oh yeah.
There are really effective ways, and it's been a long time since I've had any kind of hand to hand combat training,
Hmm.
but there are really effective ways of disabling someone when you're in a situation like that. Sometimes the eyes aren't accessible, but there are other parts of the body that are.
Sure. Cowbot, I tell you, I feel like a fried egg right now.
Okay, so now they're going to have to shoot down that one missile headed for Hawaii. Otherwise, Hawaii's going to be toast.
Hmm.
Can he do it? Can he do it? Come on, come on. I think that was the same scene as before. We saw the tomahawk getting exploded. That's the same scene, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, Johnny Devitt, people have survived a head stabbing. Oh, yeah. People have survived a lot worse than that. Yay! Right on! Yay! Woohoo! Oh, Mad Matt, that gif, that is Schwarzenegger as, I think, is it Dr. Freeze or Mr. Freeze?
Mr. Freeze.
Yeah. Oh. They're all congratulating themselves. Way to go, boys. Way to go. We did it.
Hmm. But again, I mean, Seagal still looks like fresh as a daisy right now. It looks like he hasn't really, it just hasn't been too difficult. He just kind of got that little cut above his eye, but that's that.
Because he is a badass.
Sure.
At least in Die Hard, John McClane looks like he had the shit beat out of him by
Oh
the end
yeah.
of it.
And I think
He
that's one
did
of the
his
things that makes
best.
that one a little more enduring than this one is it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, he really had at least, the character had to really give like everything he had just to stay ahead and stay on top of the bad guys and make it out of there.
Well, you know what? Just like in Die Hard, it ended with a kiss, and
Right.
this ended with a kiss. Yay.
Yeah, the woman he kept trying to shove in a locker the whole movie.
Miss July saved the day.
Hmm.
Man, this movie just flew by. That was great. That was what it's one of my favorite, if not my favorite movie on a battleship. I know, Matt, right? He gets the girl, it seems odd, just like so out of place. But
Is she wearing a sailor's uniform?
No, I think she's wearing your stripper uniform, right?
Oh, and then it just ends on the funeral? What?
That's it. That's it.
Oh, boy.
Short but sweet. That's about an hour and 39 minutes of action and of killing. So,
Hmm.
all right, guys. Well, there you go. All right. Any last minute comments? Any last minute feelings? Anything you want to say? Let's hear it. Um, oh, Johnny Devick, what? Not Rihanna's Battleship? I have not seen that movie, and I would never see that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eric says, great watch, love this movie. Alex Peacock, solid 90-minute movie. Yep. Yeah, man, that show's over. Get out. Yeah, Miss Swift, it was brisk. Yeah. Calbot says this was fun. One of the better Die Hard on a blank. Yes, movie. Yes. Yeah. Keep any comments coming in while we wrap this up, and I'll let you guys know what's coming up. So we are going to be taking next week off. In a couple days, I'm going to start my cross country move, and it's going to take some time to get set up in my new digs and come back. We're going to come back a week later, which is April 6th. And I will be leaving here on Tuesday. So before I do, I'm hoping to get the April 6th movie posted on the YouTube page. I don't want to wait too long. So for a change of pace, when we do come back from this mini vacation, we're going to go for something a bit fun, a bit funner, lighthearted, sci-fi from the 80s. And I know it's probably been on a lot of people's list to watch because we have talked about it quite a bit. If anybody can figure it out, 1986. Well, I can give you a whole bunch of clues, and you guys are going to figure it out. So, yes, from 1986, it is the classic Short Circuit.
Oh,
yes,
there you go.
Eric, you got it. Eric got it before I even said it.
Very good.
Yep. So we're going to be going in for some lighthearted fun and adventure with number 5, or as I like to call him, Johnny 5.
And the Goots.
And the
Speedy,
Goots.
for that matter.
And so I've already checked it out. It should be available on a lot of the platforms. If in your area you can't find it and I missed something and you can't see it at all, let me know in the Discord chat, or my email is in the YouTube channel. No, not Howard the Duck, Johnny Devick. You might have to wait a long time until hell freezes over before we see Howard the Duck. So yes, so we will be back in 2 weeks' time for another rousing adventure.
Okay.
So,
Well, thank you.
thank you,
Thanks for having me as a co-host again, Sharon. It's always a fun time.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to do this for you guys. I'm loving this, and we're going to keep it up. As long as you guys want to show up, I will show up too. So, thank you once again, Mr. Furzel. Thank you, guys. Thank you, gang. Thank you, friends, for showing up. And be good to yourself. Be good to the world. Be kind to animals. And be kind to the people around you.
Okay.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Later, Gators.
All right. All right. We'll see you later, guys. Thank you, Eric. Good luck with moving. I hope so too. And I hope to see you guys in 2 weeks. All right. We'll see y'all later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.